All right, welcome to our lab activity of Build Your Own Dinosaur. Now, you probably already should have watched the How to Build a Dinosaur movie, and I wanted to give you a little bit more insight into how things work in the science that went into that. So, let's say you're digging up dinosaur bones and you want to figure out what dinosaurs looked like based upon their bones. We start, of course, by peeling off all the layers of dirt that have accumulated over the millions of years since they died. And you might see something like this. You don't get to dig a whole dinosaur skeleton out of the ground. You get a puzzle that looks more like this jumbled mess. Here's a map showing the location of different fossils in a particular quarry. And if you're looking at this, you're saying, gosh, which type of bone is that? Well, that one kind of looks familiar. Or where does this one here connect to? Well, to answer those questions, we can go and look at evolution. Thanks to evolution, most vertebrates share the same basic bone structure. So here we're looking at the human arm, which has a main bone called the humerus, and two smaller bones that are part of your forearm. And the elbow is going to be where those two meet. And it turns out that if you look back from animals, from frogs to lizards, birds, even bats and whales and cats, all the different vertebrates, the things with spines, seem to have this same basic structure. An upper arm that has one bone, a forearm that has two bones, and then 5 different fingers, essentially. And so we can start using that fact to try and identify different bones. A humerus always has one attachment at the top for the shoulder, and at the other end, an attachment where there are going to be 2 smaller bones. And it also has some attachments for muscles in there. And so you can look for the evidence of those different attachment points to try and recognize which bone is which. Now, here are 2 dinosaurs. This is a very large Camarasaurus, and then your more traditional Tyrannosaurus rex. And what's cool about this is that, like the example we saw before, here's the humerus, and here's the humerus in each of those. That's that upper arm bone. Well, they have the exact same number of bones and same types of bones, but the sizes and shapes all differ. And so if you want to try and put together a dinosaur, you just have to recognize which bone is this, and then put it in the right place. What makes the dinosaurs different, of course, is take a look at the size of the skull and compare that to the size of the back leg here on the top dinosaur versus the skull and back leg on the bottom dinosaur. Quite a difference, and that's because of the way they stand, how big and heavy they are, what they eat, all the different things that make these dinosaurs look different when we see them in Jurassic Park are because the underlying bones are different underneath. So you quickly sort those by shape and into their type, and this is what a paleontologist does. This particular picture is actually not for dinosaurs. This is a bear, believe it or not. But you can recognize the shape of a vertebra is different from a rib, is different from a back leg, is different from a front leg, is different from the pelvis. And now the challenge is, of course, to put them together in the right order. Well, knowing what you know about dinosaurs, you could put this dinosaur together. You see the different parts of it, and you kind of know where those should go. So let's take a look here. We'll move the body over here. We'll get the tail and attach that. Oh, I think those are some legs. We should put those on there. And oh, those front arms, they should go there. And all of a sudden, we have a dinosaur. So paleontologists who know more about dinosaur bones can put together more complicated dinosaur puzzles based upon individual little bones and even bone fragments. But it's the same idea of what we just showed you in this little animation here. For the lab assignment that you're going to do, you're going to be doing what they did in the video of how to build a dinosaur. You're going to start with the bones, and you're going to end up by drawing the outline of what you think that dinosaur looks like. And now this picture here that I've drawn, this gray outline, gets pretty low marks for artistic effort. Yours is going to be better. You're going to have a much fuller picture of what that dinosaur looks like based upon the bones underneath. and you're also going to have a much more challenging collection of bones. And here are the bones that you'll use in this assignment. You'll notice that there are a lot of bones missing. We don't have a great idea of what this dinosaur looks like, so how are you going to fill them in? That's your challenge. So you'll download this map of bones from Moodle with the lab instructions as well. You'll next use the index images to figure out which bones go where and how to fill in the missing parts. And again, a copy of this index image is in the assignment PDF, the instructions, so you can read it more clearly. And what we're going to do next is we're going to sort of get practice for looking at bone structures and noticing differences and how that reflects differences in the way the dinosaur acts. And we're going to look at these dinosaurs right here. So move on to the next slide in the voice thread, and you're going to start making some comments and discussing these with your team.